Hi, my name's Splash, and I'm a texture artist. I do most of my textures on Procreate, which has caused a lot of people to ask, how do you put a Blender model or any sort of asset into Procreate? And so I decided to make a tutorial. So here's my basic tutorial on how to take any FBX, blend file, any asset really, from Blender and put it into Procreate. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open up Blender. As you can see here, we have our scene. We're going to clear our scene. And what we're going to want to do next is import our 3D object. It can be anything, doesn't matter. It's just whatever 3D object you want to import for what you want to texture while on Procreate. I'll be using the 23 mink head Willa. It's free. You can also follow the tutorial by using the same head. But I'm going to be importing her FBX. As you can see here, have her on scene. Just gonna try and center her. But yeah, here we go, the Willa Head. I'm gonna hide her bones real quick as well. And now what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to export this as an OBJ file, also called a wavefront file. This is because this is the file standard that Procreate supports for 3D models. After you save it as a OBJ file, you're going to want to make sure you know how to transfer it to your iPad, so you can save it to the cloud, whatever, but now you're ready to import it into Procreate. So first what we're going to do is we're going to take our OBJ file and import it. As you can see here we have her. She's gorgeous, she's amazing, and we finally have our file on Procreate. Now what I want to show you is kind of how I set up my 3D objects whenever I'm doing textures for them on Procreate. It gives me the most balance of light and whatnot. But as you can see, I went into 3D view of my object. I am now essentially putting these blocks, which are the light points, and setting them to 30. I always recommend setting them to 30. It creates the most subtle light, and then changing our environment to studio and dropping the exposure down to about like 80. Makes things really flat, really clean, and I love the look of it. You can also show the environment, but I like keeping my environment hidden. So what you want to do here is essentially take our lights and put them on kind of the 4 axes. One in the front, one in the back, and then 2 to the sides, respectively. And just even them out. Doesn't really matter, but you want to have them as even as you can. Then you're going to press done, and look, she's all clean, she's all nicely shaded and really nicely lit. Pretty. Now, in order to import the textures, we're going to go to our wrench here, and we're going to do show 2D texture. And as you can see here, depending on the materials of the file and how it's set up, you'll have different materials on the side here. Now what I do is I'll download the photos of the textures and save them to my iPad, so then I can go ahead and import those. Here I am importing the skin texture for Willa. Now this one is going to be the eye, so when I switch back to 3D view, as you can see, it only affects the eye because this is the specific material for the body and head and the emotions. I'm just copying the layer and putting it here. Don't mind that. When you are in 3D view, anything you copy will copy on the skin, but as we can see here fixed, now we have the textures already set on Willa's head. And from here, you can do anything now. You can put on your brush and just go ahead and start drawing. I'm just going to draw a little heart here on the cheek so you can see, but you can draw directly on the model now. Yay! Bravo! Just know that you won't be able to draw on something that's on a different material, so when you want, you can switch. Those little spikes you see there are because of UV overlapping, but sometimes if you go to the other side, that's usually where the dominant UV is, and you can draw over there. Whenever you click on a 3D model, you can actually change which material you're drawing on. So as you saw, clicked on the head there, and now I can go back and draw on the face. Additionally, you can put up a reference here, so then you can have your 3D model on the side while you're drawing. And so this is what I like to do, is I like to keep the 3D model on the side and then just draw directly on the 2D version. This can ensure that when you're drawing, you know where everything's gonna go, and it makes it really clean, really nice. As you can see here, the different materials show different things, so new layer, and whoop-de-doo, you can draw on the 2D version instead of the 3D. So yeah, that's how you kind of get everything on there. Additionally, something else that a lot of people don't know about is how do you transform your Willa into a 4K Willa head base. As you can see here, what you want to do is you're going to want to take the head base you just imported and export the OBJ, save it to your files. You're going to want to go to your files, find that head base you just exported, and as you can see here, here are all the materials that you want to change. Now this is a little bit of a tedious process, but you're going to want to create a canvas that is the resolution you want it to be. 4K is 40 by 96 by 40 by 96, and you're going to want to name the artwork each of those different image files. So as you can see here, this one's transparent color, that one's head transparent roughness, metallic, etc., etc. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to name this new resolution the exact same thing as it's named in the files. So I'm naming it here head transparent, and then this is the color layer. When you do that, you're going to want to select it, share it as a PNG, save it to files, and you're going to want to find the exact folder that you have that Willa Head. So we're going to go back here, and when you click save, it's going to want to say if you want to replace it, and you want to replace it, not keep both of them, because now that texture is replaced with a 4K version instead of a 2K version. As you can see here, this one's 4K. As you can see in the bottom, it will say the resolution. Every 3D object that you import will start as a 2K, like my original Willa Head, but by doing the process I stated there, you can make your textures 4K. So once you've replaced all of your files, you might be wondering, how do I import my new 4K file? So since it's a folder, you're not going to find it on normal import. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to split Procreate. You're going to open your files, and you're going to find where your folder is. As you can see, it's our top thing right here. All of these are now 4K textures. You're going to hold and drag it into Procreate, and in doing this, you will actually be able to import the entire 4K version. So as we can see here, it's importing. We have to go backwards. I'm going to close this, and once I go to where all my main drawings are, you'll see that the new 4K version is uploaded. So yeah, that's how you upload it, in case you're wondering, since you kind of have to do it through files. You can't normally upload it onto Procreate. And now she's 4K. Yippee! So here are my tips, my little things on how to use the mask in order to make your visuals look better on Procreate. You're going to open files, you're going to click this little square thing here, and you have your different materials, sort of. You have metallic, roughness, and color. Color, of course, is what you're going to normally color on. Roughness, I usually actually set it to white because, as you can see here, it makes things really flat. But if you set it to black, it's going to make things really shiny, as if it's like made of plastic. As you can see here, you can see the environment. And when you put it back to white, she is smooth. Additionally, for metallic, it's going to work the opposite. So the darker it is, you're not going to see anything, but if you make it lighter, the metallic mask is going to work. And if you combine this with the roughness masks, you're going to get, of course, a more metallic looking material on top of your object. Now I'm going to clear these. And you can clear these like any other layer. You can also clear your color layer through here. And what I'm going to show you is you can actually just do this on certain areas. So I'm going to draw a dot here. Can't see it much, but if I turn it, you can see that the roughness has made it shiny. I'm going to select my roughness that I've drawn, and you can actually do the same thing on metallic. So when I do it here, I'm going to actually make this more metallic. you can make it on one single area. It kind of looks like a sequin on her head, but as you can see, it's metallic. It's basically a metal dot. But you can utilize this if you want to take photos inside of Procreate of like specific metallic materials. As you can see, every one of the like layers is playable in their own thing. They are their own layers essentially, and they're not constricted to whatever they're on.